Revenue Forum is a non-profit initiative started by me in 2008. Currently, we organize webinars. We hold these on Thursdays on a regular basis, around every other month. Half-day seminars, we hold these in 12 countries and cities in 10 countries, sorry. The coming seminars will be held in Gothenburg, Copenhagen, and Stockholm in September, and I will give you some more information at the end of this webinar. We also organize whole-day events. This is a unique hybrid event held simultaneously online, as well physically in Stockholm, London, Milan, and Lisbon. Hold the date for the coming one on the 30th of January 2024. The topic of this episode is the distribution platform, how to decrease distribution costs. And we have invited an expert panel to show us their insights. Participants to this webinar are a broad mix of listeners from all over the world. They are ranging from hotels 2 to 5 star, independent and large brands. We'll try to make this coming hour as inspiring to you all. Our experts panel consists of 5 speakers who will each get 5 minutes to talk. We use a Pecha format, which means that slides automatically will change after 20 or 30 seconds. Being the first speaker, let me start with myself. My name is Annemarie Gubanski, and apart from being the organizer of Revenue Forums, I am founder and CEO for Taktikon Consultancy and our soft brand Taktikon Hotels. Today, I will talk about how revenue management has evolved over the years and what we can learn from that in order to decrease distribution costs. Now over to our next speaker, Marianna.
Marianna, nice to meet everybody. I'm currently working at RateGain. With my past 10 years of experience with technology. So today I'm going to bring you guys tips of how to select the right technology. And then I think Jolanta will take over.
Okay. My name is Jolanta and I work for ProfitRoom. Today I will be speaking about how to decrease your commission cost by converting more bookings direct on the website.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Allard Alfrink. I work as Senior Director of Business Development, EMEA for Cendyn. And we are going to look at ways in how we can use personalization and smart technology to decrease cost in the distribution channels.
Yep, and I'm Piotr from YieldPlanet, where I'm responsible for everything commercial. And I'm going to talk high level on what's the difference between a traffic hook and a distribution, so how to become a master of that.
Great. I've seen all your presentations. I'm really looking forward to this hour. I think it's going to be really, really, really nice. Now, my name is Annemarie Gubanski, and I'm one of the owners of Taktikon Consultancy, which is a consultancy specialized in revenue management, hotel distribution, and digital marketing. We offer excellent revenue management outsourcing and tech stack efficiency. With over 100 properties all over Europe, we are one of the main revenue management consultancies in Europe. From 2022, we also offer a soft brand called Taktikon Hotels for independent hotels who want to remain a part of a hotel chain, but still want to do exactly what they want to do. Hotels remain independent together with us. Now, let's start. For my 5 minutes, I wanted to take you back to the evolvement of revenue management over the past 23 years. So for the time I have been a revenue manager. Back in the day, we used rack rates and offered our guests a rebate depending on the expected demand of the day. With the introduction of internet, we noticed that our pricing strategies became more transparent and guests started to question why they could find different rates on various distribution channels. This was the start of a problem called rate parity and the introduction of bar rates. When we introduced bar rates beginning in 2000, it was revolutionary. Many doubted if our guests would understand this, but of course they did, as they always do. Internet also gave us an increased amount of OTA channels, and our guests started to use these in an extended fashion, which means that our distribution mix quickly changed. When Calably Labs in 2014 published a study which showed that since 2009, the distribution cost had increased double as much as total revenue, hotels started to understand why their margins were decreasing. When we got these insights, it was revolutionary. How could we have missed this? I think the answer is simple. Distribution is handled by revenue managers, and as the word says, we handle revenue, not the cost involved to it. This was the start of the involvement from revenue management to profit management, a procedure we still are working on and will dedicate our coming webinar to. But it also meant that revenue managers needed to acquire knowledge on digital marketing to increase more direct revenue and optimize the distribution mix. So apart from profit managers, we also are moving towards being digital marketeers. A revenue manager who understands all about digital marketing can impact a distribution mix and drive more direct revenue to decrease distribution costs. Our speakers of today are experts in the field, and they will give you their insights in this webinar. Digital marketing within the hotel industry is a specific field. Hotels compete against their best partners, being the OTAs. The importance of meta search is not unique for hotel industry, but rate parity is. And as meta search makes pricing very transparent, it does make it a whole different ballgame. But meta search also means that offering the lowest rate on your own website can be a good strategy, provided that potential guests Google on your brand name, you have excellent distribution technology and equally great websites. In the meantime, technology has evolved and hotels are being contacted by various suppliers who tell them that they can increase revenue with the help of artificial intelligence. Now, of course, who does not want a bit of modern intelligence in their hotel? When this was introduced, my brother was laughing out loud. But you need to understand that he's a professor in computer science. And for him, artificial intelligence is something that you can only apply when you have a lot of data. And he rightfully argues that hotels have access to this. The artificial intelligence for hotels is more machine learning, which means that our technology enhances as time passes. Artificial intelligence can help us cure cancer, beat chess masters, write film scripts, and can help us become more efficient. But they don't understand what it means to fall in love, get your heart broken, spend time on hobbies, or that glass breaks and water spills out when you drop a glass of water on the floor. They are fantastic and get even more fantastic, but I think it takes quite some time before they take control over the whole hotel industry. It is also my humble opinion that you mix AI with IQ, so a machine that gets help from a human and vice versa. We humans are much more creative, and our technology works the best way if we have a mix of creativity together with the excellent intelligence that technology gives us. So what did I want to highlight in my 5 minutes of fame? It goes fast. Change is upon us whether we like it or not, and the hotel industry needs to learn new tricks all the time. But we have lived in an ever-changing world as long as we have existed, and those who adapt to change are the ones who will survive. We should always ask ourselves, how can we best make use of the change instead of how to avoid it? One of the major changes for revenue managers is the need for increased knowledge in digital marketing, which I believe is talked about way too little, as we always talk about revenue managers becoming total or profit managers. The hotel industry is very specific and it involves decreased dependence on the OTA channels, who at the same time are our best partners. Knowledge in how to use our distribution systems, the channels the best way, handle meta search, have excellent distribution technology, and equally great website are a must. It's already the end, and I hope that you enjoyed my speech. If you want to know more about revenue management outsourcing packages we offer, please contact us. For independent hotels who would like to remain independent together with us, we can offer our soft brand, for which we use the splendid technology from SHR and the Windsurfer platform. Independent hotels get the flexibility in being whatever they want to be with the choice of technology they would like to have, and an excellent community together with Taktikon. That was it for me. You already see the coming speaker, which is Marianna.
Thank you, Annemarie. It was very nice to hear you talking through the changes of revenue management. So for me, Marianna told you guys I've worked with RateGain, head of sales for them here in Europe, and our main goal is to help you guys on the distribution business, whether that's saving costs and automations and everything we're about to discover. So today I want to take you guys through a journey of selecting the right technology for cost saving. If you're ready, we can go there. Okay, so technology and cost savings in hospitality. Most of us know it's not easy to work with perishable goods and be right on cost saving. It includes a lot more factors than just saying, oh, I'm going to change the route of my truck, I'm going to save this and that. And that's just easy for many other industries. When it comes to us, I don't just want to go to the right channel mix and everything that's just been already spoken about hundreds of times, but I want to know about how the technology can really impact the cost saving and the practical side of it. So choosing the right technology for your needs. When we talk about choosing the right technology, that doesn't mean the same technology is right for everybody. You need to be deeply connected with the automation of processes for your own environment, let's say. But here we go with quick tips on how to select that for you and make the right decision. Let's start by looking inside. And by looking inside, I mean, we should all go back and to analyze those different things that we do once and again, and they're tedious, it takes too much time. They're not something that anybody would volunteer to do it on your day off. So that's when you say, okay, this is where I need help. And to understand the cost of it, we need to use those finance reports we hardly ever get time to look at. Going back to revenue managers not looking at costs very often, we do need to understand exactly how much we're spending on those tedious tasks to put a value on our cost savings and to the technology that will help us get there. Very often, technologies might seem costly, but when you look into how much you're already invested on that manual task, you'd see it's very much affordable and it will take you to the next level. Get ready to shop. At that point, you get number 3, negotiation. Let's play a mind game. Many companies offer you the bundled solutions or the one-stop shop. And we all know from different places, even the supermarket, when you buy anything on bulk, when you buy things together, you get a better offer. That's the clever way of looking at it. But it brings us to the 4th one, which is centralization. Centralization in this context means you go through one implementation. You have one team to look into your integration. If anything breaks, it's one team to fix it. You don't speak with 5 different people. So coming with the win-win situation, you go there, you're a valuable customer because you bought several of their products. They'll go a step further to keep you happy. Keeping you happy is a win-win situation. You get someone to support you going forward. And again, on top of the cost savings, it's going to increase your sales. That's when we get the bonus. The bonus is normally your account manager. When you go through this type of cycles, you get a trusted advisor from the company. They can do all your optimization with you, and they can take you to the next levels of earning. Will then also be more advantage on the cost saving side. Revenue and sales technology, all hospitality companies should have today. I'm naming 5 most important right now for me, which would be PMS, Channel Manager, Booking Engine, Rate Chopper, and Digital Media Managing Tool. I think nobody can live without it these days. So I'm going to talk about key features that all of them must have. With the Channel Manager, it needs to be a two-way connectivity, support the GDS business, and have a promotion and segmentation management side of it. Booking Engine should be ready for personalization, integrated payment platform, and have guest communication. The MarTech to the digital media have real-time analytics, proprietary algorithm, and an account manager. Rate Chopper, AI data quality mechanisms, RMS data feed integration, shopping proof, real-time data refresh. And then the PMS needs to have the integration, guest management, and housekeeping. It's very important not to forget that you shouldn't buy the same same thing in your competitors just because they bought it. You need to analyze the needs of your own business and ensure they're covered. Different types of accommodations have different needs, and no technology is a substitute of having a full thing. We often, when we talk about cost savings, it's normal to think the cheapest is the best. So you always need to remember quality is the best business plan. So don't just go for the cheapest solution that comes ahead of you. Really take your time to analyze everything the solution can do for you. But that's my 5 minutes of fame. Thank you all for hearing me out. If you have any further questions, or if I didn't really touch any points deeply in these 5 minutes, feel free to reach out to me and we can discuss more about all these tools, what they do, what they mean, and how to go a step forward.
Thank you so much for that, Marianna. I like also your point in that you shouldn't buy technology that somebody else has just because somebody else has it. And I think it's something that maybe hotels here can take into account, because I mean, just like buy the thing that is suitable for you, not for your competitor. I love that point. Thank you, Marianna.
You're welcome.
Well, Jolanta.
Yes, hello, Marianna. I also love that point about, know your needs before you purchase. Yes. So my name is Jolanta, and it's great to be here and to see that so many people are joining us on today's webinar. So I'm the Business Development Manager at ProfitRoom, focusing on the Nordic region. For those who might not be familiar with ProfitRoom, we are a hotel technology provider serving over 3,500 hotels and resorts worldwide. So for the past 16 years, we have been boosting actually hoteliers' profits with our award-winning booking engine, channel manager, and websites. And today, I'm absolutely thrilled to be sharing with you some insights that we've gained over time on how to effectively transform website visitors to confirmed bookers. So let's dive in with the first slide. So if you are joining us today, it's most likely because you are on a mission to decrease your OTA dependency and your commission costs, and your website is your best friend on this journey. I will be sharing with you today some insights, the best practices and successes of our partners that will highlight key elements of the website and booking engines with high converting rates. So I hope you will find it beneficial. Before we move forward, do you know what the current conversion rate of your website is? If you, according to Hotel Tech Report, the average hotel website conversion rates, it's between 1.5 and 2.5%. So if you are scoring better than that, congratulations. But in most of the cases, out of every 100 visitors to a hotel website, 98 will navigate away and book somewhere else. So what can you do to retain those customers on your website? Well, this may sound trivial, but the content is still the king. Hotel presentations on OTAs rely on static images and facts and descriptions. These are really lacking the capacity to convey emotions, which are crucial factors in decision-making when booking accommodations. So your website provides you with unique opportunity to inspire guests with attractive images and dynamic content. The other key factor, which is very important to return website visitors, it's the seamless experience. From the guest perspective, your booking engine and your website, it's a one environment, and it should provide a consistent journey. So ensure that you provide intuitive and uninterrupted experience with the booking, with easy to read booking panel. Having hotel website and booking engines which are mobile friendly, it's essential given the increasing use of smartphones and tablets in exploring hotel websites. According to Millennials Media, 83% of people aged 18 to 34 will use smartphones to research hotels, and 67 will book hotels via mobiles. So this number is going to increase. Regardless of how the website visitors comes to your website, make sure that they always receive for direct bookings the best available rates and the best booking conditions, and make sure that this message is effectively displayed on your website. Here is the example from Apoka Resort, who incentivize direct bookers with discounts for mid-season bookings and give 10% discount for activities. Your packages are your superpower. Why? Because they are unique to your website and they are not bookable on OTA channels. So shows those exclusive offers, and they will help you to motivate the guests to stay engaged on your website, plus will prompt them to explore the other services. This is the examples of wilderness hotels who managed to boost their direct bookings by 20% by using packages. There is nothing more frustrating than repeatedly search for availability with no guaranteed result. So ensure that your website is equipped and the booking engine with the availability calendar, providing the visitors with clear view of all available booking dates and alternative options. Did you know that 60 to 80% of OTA users are actually frequently exploring hotel websites looking for more specific information? Capitalize on this opportunity and transform those browsers into bookers with tools like instant newsletter discount. In this win-win situation, the guests receive discounted rates and perks, and the hotel acquires valuable guest details for future marketing activities. So this brings me to my last slide. 5 minutes, it's really little time. So, and to a few more examples of our partner success stories, which each of these partners, we followed a different path to increase conversion and revenue. But all of them started in the same place with comprehensive audit of their booking engine and website. And I would like to take this opportunity to invite you to order a free audit of your hotel's website with ProfitRoom. You can do it using my email address or the QR code in this presentation. Thank you so much for your time. I love helping our partners and being challenged by the ambitious goals. So I'm looking forward to this opportunity with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jolanta. You are a natural. You said that this was your first webinar, but you do this as if you've done it all your life. Really nice. Thank you. Over to the next speaker. Let's see what Allard has to say.
Yes, thank you very much, Annemarie, and indeed a great presentation, Jolanta. It's interesting to see how some technologies converge and how others use it in a different manner. We'll talk about that with our company from Cendyn, which is an innovator and a bit of a catalyst in the industry that you may know for a CRM platform primarily, but we use that also for streamlining the distribution on the GDS, the booking engine, other channels, as well as revenue management and rate management tools for e-proposal and RMS solutions, which not everybody knows. But let's continue to look at ways in streamlining distribution costs for today's webinar. Some statistics that you may have seen indeed really back up that this topic shouldn't be going away from our agenda, from hoteliers when we look at distribution costs. In fact, less than 20 people visiting a website out of the 1,000 actually end up in making a booking, which is really not a very good statistic. But it's backed up like this report from Hotel Tech Report also shows. Our hoteliers ask us how we can help them change this. So we work together with H2C as well to do a report and a study on that to find out what works best for hotels. And you see here some results of that, which on the left-hand side, you see the key themes. And indeed on top, which nobody will suspect, is not only the sort of the tailoring to have a modern look and feel to your booking journey, but actually the personalization. Now, more personalized offers doesn't mean sending out more offers. It means actually taking this personalization a lot further than just sticking somebody's name on there and calling it personalized. It means using technology in a clever way to enable you to save cost and drive business direct by offering them value. Now that pays off, because as you can see here in the distribution mix for the hotel industry, OTAs still take the lion's share. But on the top left, you see also the hotels that get a booking range from 17 to 24% of their distribution mix. That is a huge gap when you think about it. So what do these hotels do differently to get 24%? It's not like they spend more than other hotels, because you cannot outcompete Booking.com or Expedia when it comes to marketing budget. No, they fight smart, they don't fight hard. And it's good to know that 60% of visitors to an OTA will also visit your brand.com site. So when they visit you, that's your chance to really convert it. By deep linking digital media promotions to make sure if they click on a campaign, they go through the website with the same look and feel, that is replicated in the booking engine, that's replicated in the confirmation page. You don't want to offer everything to everyone, you want to be selective. So repeat guests to get a repeat offer, and you can use that same big data to offer tailored promotions to new guests with the lookalike persona built into your RMS solution. But first and foremost, you need rate parity. If you don't have rate parity, then guests are likely to turn off, which is backed up by multiple research sources. It's easier said than done though, because when OTAs undercut you, you need to stay on top of it to make sure you act on it. Not anymore though. Technology can help you do that. If you have a modern provider, they can not only match the rates to make sure you always have rate parity to build that important brand equity, but also to make sure that you adapt your rates on real time when an OTA decides to undercut you. And that matters, because brand.com is not only your website, it's any digital platform that your customers interact with you. It can be a social media campaign, it can be your marketing outreach, anywhere that they meet you. And when they go on a campaign and they decide to interact with your brand, they should be replicated that same sense and feeling. You need to use that success measures to find out what happened. Why did this guest click on it, and why did another guest not click on it? So you can learn from it and improve your marketing outreach. Of course, when you get to the brand website, you need to have that really easy user experience, which is common in our industry. It's no longer acceptable to have a booking engine journey that doesn't reflect the value you offer, when you're still asking guests for an average rate of £150 or US per night to spend when they're hard to cash in this day and age. So you need to make sure you offer the value by strike-through pricing. You can have the dynamic rates targeted on geo-specific locations. So make sure you benefit from school holidays. When you want to send the promotion for a spa break in a different region where you know they have that time window, but when they click on it, they go through to a landing page that's customized as well. The confirmation page is customized to the same promotional offer. The booking engine page, but even up to check-in. When the receptionist checks in and says, like, oh, I see you've booked a detox and de-stress spa package, and it's all ready for you to go during your stay. I don't need to work 24/7 on that, of course, fortunately. A lot of these things can be automated. And that's where technology really helps revenue managers who not only need to manage single properties and multiple properties, but also have a lot of other departments to look at cost indeed, what we started out talking about today, but also to look at food and beverage, to look at meetings, spa revenue that you may offset when you take guest room bookings. All that needs to come together. Technology can help with that by tailored emails on the left. You can see here 3 emails that went out, but they all have a different header, different image, different look and feel, but it's done automated based on their persona. Because that's the exciting thing about technology. It keeps changing. Role of AI in hospitality that Annemarie already mentioned at the beginning of today's webinar. It's continuing to increase. Whether you can benefit from that today is one thing, but definitely smart algorithms or chatbots like ChatGPT, those are definitely embedded. In fact, we use it already in our call center solutions, and we're seeing great results by our hotel partners, not only in a reduction in work that is required by the reservation team, but also by guest satisfaction that keep asking for more. If you want to have access to any of the reports I referenced from Hotel Tech Report or from the H2C survey that we've done, come to me after this webinar, and otherwise I look forward to discussing this further in the Q&A.
Nice, thank you, Allard. Also, just like personalization, it's much more than just like mentioning a name in the confirmation. I like that because I mean it's so much more than that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so last but certainly not least, Piotr.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah, so now's my time. Last but not least, hopefully it will be still interesting and everyone is still there. I work at YieldPlanet, where we help our clients automate the pricing and distribution strategies. So I will talk a little bit about the high-level approach on that. I'm not pretending to summarize all of that was said by my colleagues, but let's dive into the slides then. So hello, everyone, once again. I hope you're enjoying the webinar and you're not too busy despite the summer season. We are supposed to talk about hotels and distribution, but I wanted to slightly divert from this. And I wish to talk about the profession that is often also present at the hotel, but not necessarily associated with room distribution or revenue directly. So let's go to the kitchen. There are usually chefs and cooks who work there, and both roles are important, but they're significantly different. A chef is trained to understand flavors and cooking techniques, create recipes from scratch with fresh ingredients, and manage a team of cooks. While a cook is an individual who follows established recipes to prepare food. You may wonder, how is that relevant to the room distribution topic? Oh, you can keep on using the old simple techniques and let the major OTA maximize its profit, but you can also choose your bookings for the best flavor and experiment with new recipes to reduce the cost and increase the revenue. So, are you a cook or a chief? Now, a quick background about YieldPlanet and why I dare to talk about this topic. We have over 13 years of a global experience in distribution. In 2022, our expertise was even acquired to use it for the short-term rental segment. For independent hotels and hotel chains, we offer a unique revenue management system that combines the power of pricing and distribution in one tool. So let's get back to the original tasty topic. Now, the first big difference between the chef and the cook is that the cook is always using the same old recipes and doesn't change anything in them. The cook doesn't like to change recipes that are good enough. And it's often attached to one dish that is most frequently ordered. Does it remind you of something? So the ingredients of the meal are like a channel and segment mix of your bookings. The chef never settles on trying new ingredients and techniques for optimal taste. If you wish to be a chef, you should experiment with new strategies and try using new channels. No restaurant is the same, neither should be your strategy. The next thing is the seasonality. The cook is using the same recipes all year long, while the chef understands the seasonality and is using the best available ingredients for optimal taste. Summer, for example, is the high season for chandeliers. You can find them in many restaurants in August, but other ingredients will replace them very soon. And the same rule probably applies to distribution. Distribution chefs also use different strategies depending on the season. During the summer holidays, you might apply higher rates to an OTA that charges high commissions, but they bring you international guests. But during the low season, you can possibly close that OTA and invite your loyal and local guests to book through their booking engine. The next thing is that cooks usually buy all the items in one shop, while the best chefs know exactly when and where to buy the best ingredients. It is an effort to find the best provider for every vegetable, fruit, or piece of meat, but it highly pays off. By understanding in detail the booker's journey, you can adjust your distribution and its cost accordingly. This way, you will pick your guests for an optimal mix, especially during the high demand period or hours. You can close expensive OTA channels and save room availability for cheaper channels like booking engine. On the other hand, last-minute reservations are usually made through the OTAs because of the convenience. So you should maybe reopen them again. And last but not least, as also my colleagues mentioned, tools are also essential. Chefs are famous for using sophisticated knives. They understand that this is an essential tool for them. And yes, the best knife is an investment, but chefs know that they will work closely with their knives for countless hours, and these tools will make their job easier and bring results over the long years. They also understand that the different knives are used for different types of food, and it's difficult to cook the whole meal with just one universal knife. So you also need to build your own stack of the sharpest knives. Choose the tools that allow you to precisely execute your own cooking or distribution style. And in summary, there are 4 things that you can do to decrease the distribution cost. First, try new channels. The biggest cost of that is signing the contract and creating a profile. On the operational side, there is no difference between having just one or multiple channels. Plus, try experimenting with new strategies. Some might fail, but others will bring tasty results. Second, analyze the seasonality in order to understand when you could avoid expensive bookings. Third, understand the booker's journey and channels that you have to consciously choose the bookings. Once you have various channels, don't be afraid of closing them when needed. And fourth, build a tech stack by choosing the best of the breed tools that suit your needs and offer full configuration. Finally, experiment to craft your own unique strategy. So, dear chefs of distribution, sharpen your knives, and I wish you will enjoy your delicious results. So, thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much for that yourself, Piotr. I found it interesting when you say that you could close off channels, and I might just like ask you a question in that in a minute when we go over to our discussion panel. I would like to just like invite all the speakers to participate. And I think maybe first of all, because you were all a little bit into just like choosing the right technology. So I think maybe we can just like start with a question. I thought maybe first to you, Jolanta. So what key factors do you believe the hotels should consider when choosing a booking engine, and what effectively decreases commission costs to what's your opinion?
Well, I think the first and the most important, and I just totally agree with Marianna, don't look at always at what your competitors doing, because what works for them might not work for you. No, I would start from like, your goals and your ambitions, and maybe even a step earlier. Where are you today? What is your current performance? And do you know how much you can improve it and what you need to make this improvement? This would be my like start point. And then based on this, I would look at supplier. Yes. Do I have a lot of packages to sell? Then I need the booking engine that would support this. Do I have a problem with seasonality and availability? Then the must-have is availability calendar. And we can go on like this. I think for many hotels, just to close this, Annemarie, sometimes people don't know really what they are looking for. And it's okay to ask for help. And I think what I just mentioned at the end of the presentation, the audit, it's a great way to help yourself to kind of like not evaluate, but assess where you are at the moment, because you might not know about opportunities that there are for you. So I would say, yes, look at your needs first.
Yeah. I think you're so quite right. The reason also why we sometimes do these tech stack audits is because we find sometimes hotels just like choose technology only just like based on what does somebody else have, and then I'll just also buy it because I know it works, but it doesn't have to mean that it works for you, right?
Yeah.
Allard, but then with most technology companies is like offering about similar features, you can say they usually talk about the same things, but then how can hotels still find meaningful technology, maybe how to differentiate? Would you have an opinion about that?
Absolutely. But I just wanted to also touch on Jolanta's answer just now to add to that. I think that some people underestimate the fact when you look for a new book engine or new technology provider is to really focus on the support you're getting, because it's all great if you have a tool that has 1,000 different configuration modules at your disposal and it looks nice in a sales presentation. But if at the end of the day your reservation supervisor doesn't know how to use it, or it takes half a day to load a new campaign or promotion, it's never going to be optimized. So I think that's definitely in the configuration. Well, technology is great, and but it's an enabler. Yeah, it needs people to actually do the final work, and those people need to be trained and kept up to date by account management and support. In response to your question, absolutely, the booking journey, there is a certain development in the market now that, okay, we've all done our testing and our A/B testing and our panel surveys and looked at the competition and seen what OTAs are doing and seen what other booking engines outside the industry are doing. And there's a certain development going that some technology is the same. You check for availability, you need a calendar, you need display rooms, you need a video in it, you need rates and an attractive text, which is not taken for granted. Not every hotel's got that, surprisingly or not. It does happen, but where you can make a difference is absolutely in personalization and then doing it a lot further than what people have been doing so far. It's not just recognizing repeat guests when they log into your portal and you know, that's a repeat guest. It's actually using big data to personalize that, to make sure, okay, we have a lookalike persona, someone who shopped this pattern before, they were interested in this type of room configuration, this type of rate package, and you can be selective in what your system shows up as the first primary result. Now, playing with that and learning from that really does help to drive reservation conversion. And that's where that blend between CRM and distribution is starting to become more and more important.
You're quite right. Both of you were quite a lot into packaging, but then not all hotels do have the means to package, right? And that might also be a little bit of a challenge for hotels to differentiate, because, well, if you have room and breakfast, you have fantastic images. What do you do then?
You can always differentiate because you can still offer an early check-in, a late checkout. You can offer a reduction on the rate if they book and commit earlier, rather than charging extra if they book later. It's little things like that that do set the perception at the audience. Yeah. And if your property only does have a breakfast solution and doesn't have a fancy restaurant and a spa, well, then shout about that, because it attracts a certain audience that wants that is interested in that, and that may not be interested in a spa. So you need to be careful that you know what kind of guest you're attracting in your digital marketing outreach and focus on that. Yeah. And if it's a real lack in your area, then look at the nearby spa and make an arrangement with them. Usually businesses are keen to team up with you if you're not competing. So that there's definitely, it's a creative use of your capabilities at your disposal.
I think you're quite right, and every hotel has actually the right to be creative and try to do different things. Every hotel has its own existence rights, I think. So you should find it. So that's really nice of you. Marianna, I was thinking when you were talking about, you were just like talking about just like different pieces of technologies that hotels need. If you had magical powers to provide a piece of technology to hoteliers, which one would you choose?
Today, I would say I wanted everybody to have access to digital media. We still see a lot of smaller players afraid of investing, afraid of playing with budgets, afraid of playing with their own advertisement of it, the creative part of the marketing itself, and they prefer not to risk and not to invest money thinking that they will lose the budget or anything and not gain from it and not learn from the experience. Your first ad copy will never be the good one, will never be the one that makes you millions. You do it, you learn from it, becomes better, and it attracts more people, and then focus on the segmentation and so on. I don't want to talk here for another 30 minutes about digital media, but I do feel is that one thing there are a lot of hoteliers who are still afraid of diving into that everybody should be thinking about.
Thank you. Nice. Thank you. Piotr, you were talking a lot about closing channels, but then if you close off an OTA, doesn't it mean that people are afraid that you're fully booked, when actually, because you would do that also on the low season? Understandably, maybe so during high season, but could you elaborate on your point for the low season and closing it off?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's a kind of I would even dare to say a misconception that you cannot really close the OTA. Okay, maybe if you're afraid of breaking the rate parity, then you can break the availability parity, if that makes sense, because like no one is really forcing you to be there. Sometimes it actually pays off. And maybe to give you like a specific example of a selected strategy, it's just an example that might actually work a little bit better for city hotels, but as we see with our clients, I mean, every hotel has could have its own kind of sequence that could be even automated. So to give a specific example, what we sometimes do is for every stay date that has a high enough demand, we do the following. We are closing the OTA 1 week before arrival to save the availability for direct bookings, because yeah, we know that there is a demand. Then 2 days before arrival, if we still have rooms left, we can reopen the OTAs, because maybe last minute bookings, we can boost them with some like special rate plan. And then on the day of arrival, we close an OTA again to save rooms for walk-ins. And in the afternoon, we reopen them again, because maybe a busy business person will book the room on the OTA. So all of that is to show that like there's no one specific rule for high season or low season that you ask, but you always can find some kind of like a strategy or sequence that would make sense in either kind of season that will protect your business from a higher cost of distribution, and actually, for example, force the direct bookings that are much cheaper.
Okay, thank you. I actually, when I listen to all of you, and this is like a question to anyone who answers the fastest or has something to say about it, but then in some markets, what you can see is that booking engines are very much similar. There are, of course, different suppliers that are strong in different markets. And sometimes they are so strong that, I mean, whichever hotel I look at that specific market, and we look at quite a number of markets as we are just like quite European, it all looks the same. Now, I don't know if you have a good answer to this, but is this a damaging thing, or is it just like, okay, well, it's a good booking engine. It doesn't really matter if it's not different from all the other hotels that are not part of a chain?
I think it comes from us being too much in contact with different hotels in different markets. The average traveler will not look for 100 hotels to actually say, okay, all of these booking engines do look the same. And I get what you're feeling. I mean, when we're on the discovery process and selling process, we go through the different booking engines, and we have better connectivity, some we don't, some we can integrate or not. And sometimes I even get my team and I look at it, it's like, oh, this is that provider. And they're like, how do you know? I was like, well, because I really know the layout and how their booking engine works. And it gets to a point where I think, Annemarie, that's where you're coming from. You look at it and you know the provider. You don't even have to ask anyone or to go to the source of the page to see who provided that piece of technology. So there are still very strong booking engines that, even though the layout is the same, the content of the hotel is so carefully curated that it gives you that sort of doubt into, oh, this one looks very different. This one is being really well taken care of. But I think it's a lot more something we as people in the industry can see, rather than the end consumer, which is someone that is trying to book some holidays or a trip anywhere.
If I can
Sure.
add something to it, if you allow me, it's actually interesting because I was talking yesterday with one of my friends she's planning holidays now in Poland, when like ProfitRooms owns like over 80% of the market. So she noticed also that this booking engine looks alike, but to her, it's actually an advantage, because she said it's then easier for her. She knows the booking flow. I mean, it's a time saver. That was actually, yes, the comment. And it's funny because we just spoke about it yesterday. So it's interesting. It's a customer perspective, because maybe they don't look there like at the design. They look more at like how practical it is. And if you know something, it's like with OTAs. We make the booking faster because we know the booking flow. So that's the other side of looking at it.
But if you have that philosophy, yeah, because actually that example you just mentioned, at the end of the line, she looked at all those hotels, but she only ended up booking one. So why did she book that one? Because I think the underlying technology for booking is similar, but what you do with it can vary a great deal. And Annemarie, you started like, I look at a lot of websites, but do those websites recognize you when you go back for a second, third, or fourth time? Do they say, oh, welcome back? Because cookies enable that nowadays. And when you started the booking, you didn't continue, did you get a retargeting mail campaign? Because that's a booking.com and Expedia and other channels that they invest in, and that's what hotels can do as well. And also a lot of examples that we've shown and that Jolanta shown as well, to an extent, to personalize. If you click on a spa campaign, that the booking engine journey gets completely updated for that. Yes, you still have that same calendar. At some point, you need to show availability. You need to show some room pictures or images and a descriptive text. Probably that's not going to go away. But how you use that, that's what makes the difference. So I think there's a lot of opportunity, and the technology now enables hotels to do that. And the hotels that invest in that, they are reaping the reward, because investing there gets taken off on the commission you pay out on the other side if the same guest books you via an OTA.
Yeah,
And one
and
other thing,
Maybe
don't believe hotel guests make quick bookings. And there's a lot of research showing that hotel guests start browsing for leisure stays about 40 days out prior to arrival, and they have at least 3 or 4 touch points with your brand before they make a booking. And that also includes other brands that have those touch points with before they finalize the booking. And it's also on different devices and different channels they may use, but it's that same interaction. So there's a lot of opportunity, and the hotel shouldn't take it for granted. Like, this is what it is. Let's just find the cheapest supplier. Now it's what you do with the technology that makes the difference.
yeah, so right.
Maybe one word also from the connector or integrator point of view. That, I mean, we're integrating with dozens of different booking engines. So I would very much recall to what Marianna said, is that, like, you should probably start for understanding your own needs, understanding the booker's journey that Allard mentioned. Is that, like, it's like a job description basically, because, like, you need to have the must-haves and nice-to-haves, need probably the budget and the timeline, etc., in order to evaluate the candidate, so to say. And, like, differentiating yourself or not differentiating yourself just for the sake of doing that doesn't really make sense if like the job requirements are not met. So that would probably be the approach that I would take. I mean, that's actually something that we are advising our clients and partners to go through that, not actually looking at the competition, but, like, really understanding what they really need. It also, to be honest, makes it easier to talk with this kind of potential partners if they really know what they need.
Yeah, so right. And as maybe going back to the point that Allard made, no, I hardly get any remarketing. I never get any welcome back notices. And I think, I mean, of course, I mean, the people that are listening right now, I mean, they are more maybe experts, but I still find quite a number of websites in which I think, like, okay, can't you make it a little bit more exciting? Because, as you say, Allard, there are just like more touch points in a customer journey. They have been at various websites. One of them is hotels, and then if we don't excite them, they might not book us. And I think it's an important point that you made, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. And the technology is there, and it's really not that complicated. If you got a partner that works with you, it really isn't. So just setting some time apart and looking at it and thinking it through, and setting a strategy in place. What are we going to do with the repeat guest? And once you've thought that through, the answer is obvious. Acknowledge them. Yeah. How do we do that? Well, I can guarantee the audience the answers are out there, and otherwise, call me afterwards.
Yeah. Okay. I think this is very good. I think I would like to just like go over to one of the other points that you were making, Piotr. I mean, you were talking about different scenarios for playing with availability on channels. What could you elaborate on that? What did you mean there?
Yeah, so one probably I already mentioned, like the kind of like sequences that you can try to build, but in terms of availability, one other example could be also the general flexibility or something like we often call virtual rooms, that basically, like, break the boundaries that the physical availability of your property, like, offer you. So you can sell more rooms by flexibly using the availability, and that works, like, equally well for all types of hotels. So just to give a specific example, yeah, if a double room are like they're already sold out, and you still have some bigger rooms like available in a big number, you can use that availability to keep on selling doubles, because, like, if the guests who desperately need the doubles, like, that are looking for something, they won't choose the other room type. maybe they have some like company restrictions, maybe they really just fix on that, and maybe like that room will not even pop out in their search if they're really looking for that. So by kind of flexibly borrowing those availability, you can be creative and you can allow for bookings to come to you.
Yeah, I think you're so right. But then you see also that the OTAs are much more going into just like only being booking engines. So if you look at an OTA on your mobile, I'm doing this, it's like I'm stupid, but then you only see like you don't see which room types you look at. So it might be so that you have like a larger room time open, but then all of a sudden you're just like completely in the loss for compared to your competitors, because they might just have the smaller room types available.
Yep. I mean, you need to be careful about it, because it doesn't really always make sense. Like you want to accommodate like big family into a single room, and also it doesn't make sense to make this kind of upgrades, for example, in the high season. So you need to be careful about it. But in general, it really makes sense to always kind of like share the availability between the room types in a logical manner, in order to like not lose that opportunity on the like, for example, the mobile phone that you just mentioned. Yeah, so that it makes it like brings the possibility basically.
Yeah. So right, nice, interesting. Marianna, I would like to go to maybe other thing, and that also comes back to I think a little bit your touch point. But you have a lot of tools available in the market at the moment, and which one of you do you feel is undervalued and has the most potential to save maybe also operational costs? Because we hardly talk about the operational costs. Would you have an answer to that?
Yes, I do feel that none of us touched a content management tool up until now. So we've all said that content is what is going to dazzle the customer, that's what's going to end up making them choose us. But none of us actually talked about the piece of technology behind being able to carefully create that type of content, which is the descriptive content and the pictures and everything that can make us more active. I think that's the most underrated piece of technology today that can save many hours of manual updates to the different 20 channels everybody is selling through online nowadays. I think that's what can make a lot of difference on the operational cost of your manpower today.
Yeah, interesting. No, we didn't really touch on that, right? Then Jolanta, maybe also would you also be able to elaborate on other features and functions beyond those mentioned in your presentation, or maybe in any of the other presentations that can boost a conversion rate? Because, well, it's low apparently.
The one which I really like, and it's kind of, I would refer then a little bit to what Allard said, that people visit website multiple sites before they actually make a purchase. It's an abandoned cart assistant, because it really makes it much easier for the guest or for the visitor to go back to where they left the booking process. And sometimes they use it because they were just browsing, but on other occasions they were just there were distractors. You know, somebody called them. I mean, my son, he tends to always have, you know, like urgent requests whenever I'm busy. So I like this one. And since we implemented this one in our solution, it really helped tremendously. I now can remember one of clients, Ocean View House, actually in South Africa. And in the last 3 months, they only lost one booking. So 98% of the bookings, abandoned bookings, were recovered with this tool. I think this is very impressive.
Nice.
That would be my favorite one, yes.
Okay, nice to hear. We are almost at the end, but I thought maybe just like one question, and I think maybe I can ask it to you, Allard, because you are the one talking about it. AI, but then ChatGPT you mentioned. How can this help to be hoteliers to reduce distribution costs, you think?
Yes, there are many ways, and it can help operations as well as distribution costs. And I think ChatGPT AI is at the early stages now of development, where 15 years ago we looked at channel managers and booking engine solutions. How is it going to replace phone bookings? Because guests want to talk. But actually the script that most guests go through is so replicable. They want to ask availability, they want to ask a room, they want to ask some basic questions and understand what you have to offer. And they have also common questions about the property. A lot of that can be automated, and it frees up time from the reservation staff and other people to do more strategic things and really focus on servicing the guests that are on property, on site, and really focus on that hospitality care that we can all do. But ChatGPT is here already. Some call centers, it takes away 40 to 50% of the inbound inquiries, and not by some but what we're all used to, the basic answering tool when you call your phone company and it never recognizes your voice. Now, they are really very clever. You got the natural language modules now that really understand the diversity of accents, including my Dutch one. And you can ask a question, you get an answer back in a natural responsive language, and they really tailor a lot of that solutions to the hospitality industry. That's where you can really differentiate, free up time, save cost, and focus on the stuff that matters. So it's a very exciting days ahead of us.
Thank you so much for that. I'm sorry, but I think we're already out of time. So, well, that was the end of the webinar. Hope you had an enjoyable hour. Our next webinar will be on the 5th of October and will be about the focus shift from revenue management to profit management, with speakers from Frontline Performance Group, Net Affinity, Cendyn comes back again, and Taktikon, of course, as well, and more. Hope you will join us again then. We will send you a recording of the webinars as soon as possible. For our listeners from the Benelux, under the name Taktikon Talks, we organize a special webinar on the 21st of September with speakers from STR, The Edge, Guestline, Room Price Genie, and Trust You. Read more on the Taktikon website. Then for participants in Scandinavia, in September, as said, we return to Gothenburg, Copenhagen, and Stockholm with our Revenue Forum seminars from the 5th to the 7th of September. So it's a roadshow that we do. It's already in 2 weeks. Revenue Forum seminar currently runs in 12 cities and 10 countries, and it's for hotels who want to spend a half day of inspiration and networking. This is a free of charge seminar to attend, and no sales pitches allowed. You can find all the information about our seminars on our website, revenueforum.net. Last but very much not least, on the 30th of January, it's time again for our Global Revenue Forum. And this really is a unique and hybrid event held simultaneously in Stockholm, London, Milan, Lisbon, as well as online. We have a book early rate available until the 31st of August. So only a few days left to book at a rebated rate. And you'll be offered a full day of fantastic speakers, panels, interviews, workshops, and more. So go to our website, globalrevenueforum.com, and book. That was all for today. Hope to meet you again in our next webinar. Or maybe on one of the seminars or event that we organize. Thank you so much to our speakers for your inspiration. Thank you to my colleague, Johanna Aline, for handling the slides. And thank you for all participants for listening. Thank you so much.